Is it possible to learn freestyle motion graphics in just 16 minutes? Well, yes. So today we are going to create this motion graphics. Let's get straight into the practice. First, create a new composition 1920 by 1080 with the 60 frame rates and the duration is 10 seconds. Then hit OK. Create a new solid and rename it to BG. Select the rectangle tool and create a shape like this and align it to the center. Then change the roundness to 228. Then duplicate the layer and decrease the scale to 80 and turn off the stroke and change its color to blue. You can copy my color codes from the description. Now import the arrow and change the scale to 17 and apply fill effects on it and change its color to white. Now rename the bottom layer to frame and also rename this layer to circle and also rename it to arrow and add a scale keyframes on all the layers. Then select all the keyframes and move it here. Then go backwards and change the scale value to 0. Now select the keyframes and apply bounce one by one. Move these keyframes closer and move the circle layer forward. Now parent the arrow layer to the circle. Also move the arrow layer forward. Now select the circle layer and hit P for the position properties. Then add a keyframe here. Then go to 20 frames forward, clicking Shift plus page up and change the position value. Now select the frame layer and add a keyframe on size and move the keyframe here. And now unlink the chain and increase the size. And this step is just to check if the arrow has moved too far. In my case, I move a bit more. So I simply shift the arrow layer slightly backwards. Then I readjust the frame by modifying the size properties to make everything align properly. Now select the keyframes and apply bounce. Move the last keyframe a little bit closer. Now go to 20 frames forward and add a keyframe here. Then go 10 frames forward and change the size and roundness value. Now add a position and size keyframes on the circle layer and move 10 frames forward and follow my settings. This is going outside now. To fix this, select the pen tool and make a smooth curve like this. Now select the arrow layer and add a keyframe here. Then go 10 frames forward and change the opacity value. Let's add a text, write iPhone 17 Pro and align it to the center first. Then move it to the left. Let's animate the text now. Click this play icon and add a position. Again click on this and add opacity. Again click on this icon and add expression. Now change the position value to -100 and opacity is 0. Then go to expression selector 1, then amount and paste the expression. I have shared the expression in the pinned comment, so feel free to copy it from there. Now cut the text layer by clicking open bracket. Now change it to words. This will make the text appears words by words. Now move these keyframes a little bit forward. Now also move the arrows opacity keyframe a little bit. Now duplicate the text, rename it to pay and move it here. And also change its color to white. And parent it to the circle. And cut the layer at this point. Now select the circle layer and add a keyframe here. Then go forward and paste the color. Adjust the keyframe if you also mess up. Now import my iPhone PNG and set the scale to 20. I think 30 is good. Now also cut the phone PNG by clicking open bracket. Add a position keyframe. Then go 20 frames forward. Then move this keyframe at this point. Then go backwards. Then move this phone on the bottom. Let's select the keyframes and apply bounce. Make keyframe closer. Now duplicate the iPhone text and move it upwards. Select this one and hit P for the opacity and add a keyframe here. Then go a few frames forward and change it to 0. Now select this layer and click open bracket and change its animation parameters. Change this to 0 and this will be -50 and this will be 100. Bring this keyframe closer. Hit T on the iPhone layer and add a keyframe. Then move this layer, change the layer value to 0. Duplicate the text layer for the price and move it here and write $1,099 and change it to medium. Let's animate this. Change the value to 0 and change its value to 100 and change its words to characters. So this will animate by characters. Now move this layer a little bit closer. And now select the circle and add a position, size and roundness keyframe here. Go forward 20 frames and move the shape to the center. Increase the size and the roundness value to 100. Now select the frame layer and add a position and size keyframe here. Then come at this point and decrease the size and move it here. And change the roundness. Sorry, I didn't add a roundness keyframe here, so come at this point and add a keyframe here. Then go forward and change the roundness and hit T and add a keyframe here. Then go forward and change it to 0 and move the keyframe closer. And also move these keyframes closer. Hit U on this and also move these keyframes closer. And also drag these keyframes here and select the iPhone layer and hit P and S and add a keyframes here. And decrease the scale and move this iPhone downwards. Let's select the scale keyframes and apply bounce. And move these keyframes forward. Now select this text layer and add a opacity keyframe here. Then go forward few frames and decrease the opacity. Now select the circle layer and hit P and add a keyframe here. Then go a few frames forward and move this shape to the center. Now select this text layer and add opacity keyframe here. Then go a few frames forward and change the opacity value to 0. Now select the iPhone text layer and duplicate it and move this text layer at the top. Now select this text layer and hit open bracket to cut this layer at this point. And write track orders. And move this layer to the center. And increase the scale to 130. Now select the layer and add a color keyframe here. Then go forward, copy this color and paste it here. And change the text color to pure white. And delete this opacity keyframes. You guys watching this here, I give you a pro tip. Add a null and parent all layers to the null. Then add a rotation keyframe here. Then go backwards and add a keyframe here. And again go forwards few frames and add a keyframe here. And change the middle value to 2. And select these keyframes and apply bounce. Change the middle value to 4. And drag this keyframe backward. And also move these keyframes forward. Now copy these keyframes and paste them here. Now move it to the center and change the middle value to -2. And that's how your animation is done. And if you guys want to learn this part of this video, so let me know in the comments. I will drop it soon. See you in the next one.